Hey guys, it is Sunday, June 7th, and Neil and I are going to have a conversation regarding how propaganda once again is infiltrating our politics and elections and the attacks from one side to another on a particular candidate, namely Graham Platner, and how that also works at home. Same shit happens here too locally. All right, so stay tuned. But before we get started, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Click that bell so you're notified when new videos drop and when we go live on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And let's get it. Oh, yeah, don't forget to leave us a comment of 7 words or more to feed that algorithm. All right, without any further delay, let's get started. All right, Neil. So, Graham Platner, he's a candidate for Senate in the state of Maine, as you know, and I know, and as probably everybody watching this segment knows, has been getting a lot of problems because he and his wife trusted a campaign staffer with some very personal information regarding sharing sexually charged texts with other women that he did, I guess, early in their marriage, and they haven't been married long, but I guess going back a few years before he started running for public office. So they brought it to the attention of a campaign staffer, and now she has since left the campaign, and she took that information and went public with it. And the media, particularly the media on the right, has been trying to drag poor Platner through the mud because he had sexual text messages with consenting adult women. And I find the hypocrisy shocking, right? And we're going to we'll get into that further. But Neil, give me your ideas. What do you think about this? This is insane, right?
You find the hypocrisy shocking? I don't find it shocking at all. I think it's par for the course in national politics today. This is what politics is today. It doesn't matter what the truth is. Doesn't matter what the truth is. It's just a matter of what lie they can sell you.
Yeah,
That's it. And it makes it really difficult to parse through, right? Like I'm I'm sorry, I have to say it. Every single politician that's in public office is a piece of shit. They're all pieces of shit. All right? They all are. I mean, look at most of them. All right? I'm not talking locally. I mean, you look at anything like state on up, state, federal government, they're all a bunch of assholes.
One way or another. Yeah.
One way or another. I hang out with these people. I meet these people all the time, right? Right. I've had conversations with these people. They're not good people. Like, they're just not good people. You hope that you send them there to implement good policy. That's your goal. And you hope that they're going to do it, right? Like, Fetterman was sent by Pennsylvanians as a progressive, okay? And
He's
he has done
anything but.
anything but be a progressive in the Senate, okay? Right? We have to start we have to start somewhere, and we have to understand absolutely nobody, right, doesn't have skeletons in their closet. Nobody is completely free in this day and age of having some type of scandal in their background that could come out, right? And it could be stupid, right? Like, I mean, we've seen some stupid shit where, like, people, their porn accounts have been hacked.
Oh my God.
Right?
Because they're interested in
Right?
sex.
Right? Like, oh my God, a 50-year-old man is interested in having sex. I'm shocked. Like, I mean, I don't get it. I just don't get it.
Well,
right?
Yes. I got to bring this up because I saw a clip on CNN, and that came up. I guess it came out last week. I don't know. There were these 2 women and a male reporter, and they're discussing this. And the guy is obviously, now CNN is sort of, right wing, left wing, both sidesing it at this point. And this guy comes out and says he should be dead. He should be dead for having sexual text messages. And if he was a Republican, he would be beaten.
to die. You deserve to die. I mean, the guy he's a terrible human being. And for your party to stand by him, this is reminiscent of Joe Biden just this past week saying, you know what? I know Joe was kind of out there, but we just want to beat Trump. Anything to do to beat Trump. You guys are willing to do anything,
but to be
accept anything.
I mean,
there's got to be a limit.
To be clear, it's the voters of Maine who thus far have chosen Graham Platner. I mean, there was a very robust candidate in Janet Mills. She was getting absolutely trounced in the polls, couldn't raise money, and dropped out. So it is.
But just come out and say the allegations are terrible. This is if this were a Republican, you would be beating the hell out of the person.
Donald Trump is the president of the United States who's in the Epstein files with allegations from
Wait a minute.
This is
right? But it's like, that's okay. You know, that they can't do. He should be beaten for exchanging print text messages with women, but it's perfectly fine to be a pedo. Right? I don't see anybody getting beaten in the Republican Party about that, right?
So I have a couple of comments on this. Okay, I have a couple of comments on this, and I first want to start out with, there was a New York Times piece, all right, that was written with very little factual information in there. Okay, all right. The woman at the center of the New York Times article, right, stated to friends, and they have documented proof of this, right, via text messages, that she would be willing to lie about Graham Platner to get him disqualified, right, so that Collins would win. She is a Republican operative. It was stated in the article that she was a Republican operative. It was stated in the article that she worked for and with Susan Collins, right? So, right, it was clearly just a political hit piece in an effort to make him sound obviously worse than he was, you know, and not for nothing, you know, he's ex-military, comes back. Did he have PTSD? Yes, but so did, you know, we now know for a fact, because there's been documented proof, right, that that the guy who ran for senator, John McCain, or ran for president, John McCain, had also had PTSD.
He was a freaking prisoner of war for like 4 years.
Correct.
Of course he's came home with something.
And we know for a fact that many of our military men and women come home with PTSD. All right. And what I find is even more interesting, all right, is that people like Platner, all right, when they come back, not even after being treated or anything like that, right when they come back, are being highly sought after, right, as recruits for our local police departments, state and local police departments. Okay. So what you're saying is that he should be disqualified from representing members of the public, right? Because he suffered from PTSD, but it's okay for police officers in our local communities to carry guns, right? In our local communities
and be in treatment
and to enforce our laws, right? With that same mentality. And anybody who says that I am like, you know, oh my God, I'm attacking police or whatever. Right?
No, he's not.
Here's what I want you to do, right? I want you to Google, right now, Google Michael Proctor and the Massachusetts State Police. Okay? I want you to Google that right now. There was a case, the Karen Reed case, where she was framed, right, for killing her police officer boyfriend, right, who was found dead on the front lawn of another police officer, mind you. Okay? And if you read the text messages and the messages that went back and forth, right, between Michael Proctor and other police officers, right, where they said, oh, the short mustache guy had it wrong, or had it right, but the U.S. had to go in and stop him. That was one of the text messages. Another text message was, oh, we're going to go plant some cocaine, right, on black people today, right? But they didn't say black people. They used the N-word, right? And a word that continuously was throughout the text messages. They have 13 years, I believe, of text messages of this guy, right? saying this type of white supremacist Nazi bullshit while patrolling and investigating the streets, all right, of the communities within Massachusetts, because he was a state police officer and he was an investigator for the state police up
Yeah.
in Massachusetts. We hear nothing. The federal government, our politicians are saying nothing about that. Nothing
they
about
won't.
that.
Today.
I'm absolutely mind blown that we have all this stuff about Graham Platner. Meanwhile, we have this big scandal happening in Massachusetts with the Massachusetts State Police that everybody's trying to bury.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So
this is so just so you know, this is something that's happening right now.
This is something that's actually happening right now. There's actually 2 murder cases, right, that he was involved in, one of which they have very little evidence on, if any at all. And it seems that the evidence now may have been manufactured because the defendant in the case is black. And so the lawyer for this individual has been fighting to get the release of these text messages, okay, and emails and all this other kind of stuff. And the state, the local community, everybody is fighting them on releasing this information. They are doing everything they can to protect this police officer who no longer serves on the force. He was fired, right? The other one of the other officers who was in charge of investigating her case, right, from the town of Canton, Massachusetts, was also fired. Or not fired, he quit because he didn't want to go through an investigation because he didn't want his text messages to he knew
be
that
exposed.
he wouldn't pass he knew he was going to be fired too. So if he quit, then he could at least serve as a police officer somewhere else. So he'll go somewhere else and he'll be a police officer somewhere else. But this is okay in our communities. This type of behavior is okay. What we are seeing is a double standard as it relates, and it really comes down to what billionaires want. Don't vote for Graham Platner because, of these reasons, but meanwhile, they just don't want Graham Platner because Graham Platner would be anti-billionaire.
Well, that's just it, right? So and sort of bringing that back around to what we're talking about here is that our politics is no longer about policy. It's just about slander. So
yes.
And what Graham Platner is doing, if you listen, if you're watching us and you've never listened to a speech from Graham Platner, I invite you to go and look him up because there's a lot of information out there. He's talking about the policies. He's talking about things that affect people on both sides. He is a two-side thread. He is a working class man. He's a regular guy. He's a regular everyman. He's a guy who went to war to represent the country, came back, was disillusioned. He's got issues from that, the PTSD, they affected him. He sought treatment for that. He's dealt with, he's not perfect. He's like the rest of us. And he has issues like the rest of us. There's a family he has to support. He's made mistakes in his marriage and he's owned up to them and they went to therapy. His wife put out a video following this whole, debacle that's come out that was really heartfelt and really believable. And she stands by her husband and stands by the strength of their marriage. And yet the right is absolutely, they're making shit up at this point. Like Neil just said, a woman came out. They're at the point where they're making shit up because he's talking about the policies that matter to every hardworking American, regardless of party. What do you think?
They don't care. That's the issue. What it really comes down to is these politicians don't care. Okay. And what we're finding is that there are certain politicians that want to come out of the woodwork, like Graham Platner, who isn't perfect. And he has problems. There's no doubt that he has problems. But you look at Susan Collins, she has bigger problems. Right? I mean,
she's horrible.
She's a horrible human being, right? Like, So, you know, this isn't about like purity tests for Democrats, right? Democrats don't have to be perfect, okay? Just like Republicans aren't perfect. But at the end of the day, we have to stop with the name calling, okay? We have to stop with the stupid rhetoric, and we have to start evaluating like the results. What are these people actually doing for us? Okay. If Graham Platner gets to Washington and he can't do anything or doesn't do anything or ends up being like Fetterman, then we get rid of him. And then you start over again with somebody new, just like we're going to do with Fetterman. Right?
Yes.
Like, I mean, the guy's gotta fucking go. So it's the same thing. We have to like we have to understand that the seat is not owned by anybody. No one owns that seat. Nobody controls that seat, right? The seat is open and we have to elect the best person for the job.
Right.
Period.
And it's just it's look, it's like a gamble, right? But you elect, you pick who you hope is best represents your beliefs, the things that matter to you, and you hope that they follow through with the promises that they make. We're seeing that the president for MAGA here made a lot of promises, and he's not living up to them. He's not living up to them, and that's a risk that you take, right? Whether they're there for the people or they're there for their own personal gain. And I think Graham Platner, he says a lot of things that I can relate to. I'm not a Mainer. If I was, he'd have my vote. But he really does talk to people. He has national appeal, and I think that's where they're really concerned, that the fact that the right is so triggered by him and is fighting so hard to discredit him tells me that they're threatened by him.
It's because he resonates with believe it or not, Republican white men. Right?
Yes, yes,
Because he is a white male. I listen, I have never been, a guy driving the Platner train. I've known that the guys had flaws right from the very beginning. And I said, don't put too much stock in that. Let's just hope when he gets there, he does the right thing, and he does what he says he's gonna do. Right. If you've noticed, I've promoted other right politicians on this podcast. Kat Abigazale, right?
yes,
Afton Bain, right? Syed in Michigan. Okay. Right. You know, these are non-white men,
yes,
right? That I've promoted, right? And they're all saying the same thing Graham Platner is. That's the thing. They are all saying the same thing. Okay.
yes.
So the real question comes down to, and I think this is really what the Democrats need to have a conversation about is why is Platner resonating more than these other candidates who are saying the same thing?
And why the
Okay.
hell are you
And
attacking him?
I think the issue comes down to he's resonating with white men, right? And that's what's most scary about a guy like Platner is that he actually has the ability to bring in some of those MAGA people who wanted affordability, who weren't like the racist MAGA, but wanted the affordability, who didn't like Democrats, who wanted somebody more independent minded, really wanted to stop the wars. I mean, there were certain policy positions that MAGA had that Platner is championing.
Yes,
And being a white male makes that makes those positions a lot more attractive than those positions coming out of Rashida Tlaib and some of the other Democrats who are not white male.
right.
And I understand that this is an uncomfortable conversation for people to have, but it's a conversation we need to have because racism and sexism has been such a focus of this administration.
Yeah. Even though
In
they deny it.
particular, this administration, right? The anti-DEI, the anti-women, the anti, Hispanic, the anti-Muslim. Like, this administration has been at the forefront of leading that charge.
Yeah.
So a guy like Syed, Afton Bain, Kadab the Ghazali, right? Look at who, right? Afton Bain lost to a white man.
Yeah.
Right? Kadab Ghazali lost to a white man. Right?
Yeah.
Syed is going through, it looks like he's going to actually win. Great. Good for him. Okay. I'm glad that he actually won. We're winning some of them. But if you've noticed, right, there's been a real attack on women. There's been a real attack on minority men.
Oh, yeah.
And so a guy like Platner really resonates, and not for nothing, and as a side note, and I got to say it, right? I am not sure, right? The fact that he is a white man, right? And he is bringing some of those MAGA people over in Maine, right? Not nationwide, but in Maine, all right? That him being a white man with a Nazi tattoo didn't help him. I actually think it helped him. And I hate saying that, and that's a sad commentary on the world today, right? Especially a sad commentary on America. But he has a broad base that he can pick from. I mean, not for nothing, anti-Semitism is on the rise.
Yeah. No.
It's on the rise everywhere, especially with people being, combining, right, Zionism and anti-Semitism. Okay. And and I can't be clear enough. They are two totally different things.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Right. And so what do we end up having? We end up in a world where Graham Platner is a standard bearer. And he shouldn't be. He should just be. I mean, he's a Maine Senate candidate. I mean, Maine doesn't have a large population. It's not like it's like, I mean, it's mostly white communities anyway. So yeah, Graham Platner is going to do really well up there.
Yeah.
Great, good for him.
And I think he's also not just the fact that he's a white male, is that he's a working class white male. He's a gun owner. He's a fisherman, or he's an oyster fisherman.
But this is what I'm saying, though.
Right?
You're making my point for me.
Yeah, exactly. But I wanted to add those facts because he literally looks like one of them, as well as
right.
But, probably has a pickup truck.
But you look at El Sayed, a Michigan Senate candidate. Michigan is more important, okay, to Democrats than Maine is. Michigan has a much larger population,
correct,
than Maine does. Why isn't El Sayed being that standard bearer? Why is it Graham Platner? Why was Graham Platner moved out to the front? Why is he resonating so much with Americans? It's sad. It really is a sad commentary on America.
I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Like it's really hard to express the sad commentary that we're dealing with today when it comes to politics, because, when we talk about racism, sexism, it's so ingrained in our politics now. Like people don't even see it. They don't even know that it's happening. They don't understand it. And they don't understand, like, the feelings that they're having toward it.
Right.
Well,
if you think about it, and this is sort of going slightly off topic here, but we've really only been a free and equal country for about 60 years, since the mid 60s, when the Voting Rights Act was passed and the Civil Rights Act was passed. Prior to that, we had Jim Crow, so it certainly wasn't free for people of color, right? Since the 1920s or 1919, women didn't have the right to vote, and we've dealt with a lot of issues all the way up to the present. I mean, even during, I believe it was during Obama, there was an attempt to pass an equal pay for equal work, so that women could be paid equally for doing the same job as men, at the same level as men, with the same level of work and efficiency. And it was shot down by, like, all the men in Congress, regardless of party. So, we haven't really been a fully free and equal society for all people. And therefore, we still, for that period of Jim Crow and before then, we historians consider the United States an authoritarian society because we weren't free for everybody.
But the thing is this was all created by a billionaire class that is bent on pitting us against each other,
Correct.
pitting one group against another group. Okay. This isn't us, right? Like, this isn't like we all have friends and neighbors who are of different, race, origin, whatever, right? Sex, you name it, right? And most people don't give a shit. Most
Right.
people don't care, right? So, this is the politicians fostering it and saying, oh, well, this group is bad for you because of X. This group is bad for you because of Y, and then they come up with some reason to make you believe it so that they could have their taxes cut,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's all it really comes down to is they just want their taxes cut, and they will say anything or do everything to make sure that happens and to make sure that a certain country, right, gets funded. Right? I mean, because that seems to be where everything is going now. And it's like that isn't who we are as a nation. And we have to get back to America. Like, we need to work for ourselves. We cannot sit there and give money away when we can't even provide for ourselves, right?
Good point.
It doesn't work that way. If we as a country can't provide for ourselves and our own people, right, how can we provide for any other country? And what we're seeing now is we can provide for our own country. We are choosing not to. So that begs the question, why? And Graham Platner is really become the face of asking that question, why, or at least helping to formulate answers to that question, right? Because we got that with Mamdani. Mamdani did the same thing.
Yeah.
He asked the question why, and people were like, we don't have an answer for you. We're going to elect you. And then what did he prove? He proved, yeah, the why is bullshit, right? The why is bullshit. We can do these things. Okay.
Yes.
And so Graham Platner is building off of that. So is El Sayed, Afton Bain did, Kat Ghazali did, right? Like, we can go through these politicians.
We're leaving one off.
Who?
Tallarico.
Oh, Tallarico. He's trying.
Tallarico, they are doing their best to discredit him, and they can't do it because he doesn't seem to, so far anyway, that I have heard, doesn't seem to have any skeletons, right? They tried to play him off as being trans. That was Stephen Miller did that. He's a vegan.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They will make something up. It doesn't matter. They will make, listen, they did that against Beto O'Rourke.
Yes.
Right? This is Texas. They do this with every Democrat that runs in Texas. They will make something up, right? And they don't give a shit. And if they can't make it up, then they'll try to find a way to steal it. So, we just have to be more vigilant than they are. And we have to come out and vote to say enough's enough. We want good governance. We demand good government, and that's it. End of story.
Yeah.
And we want politicians who are going to do what they tell us they're going to do. And, I saw this the other day. Okay. And, it's not that people are like 100% like we're anti-AIPAC or we're anti-Israel, right? That's not the case. What people want to see their politicians do is stand up to AIPAC, to stand up to Israel, because if they have an ability to stand up to them, then they know that they're going to stand up to the billionaire class and they're going to work for you. Okay. That's all people are asking for.
Do what you say you're going to do.
Don't just give blank checks out to the billionaires. Don't just give blank checks out to other countries. We have to hold people accountable.
Yes.
Like like enough's enough. Like we talk about rule of law, we talk about accountability, and that's what a lot of these smear campaigns are. The smear campaign is about accountability, but look who's smearing. It's the people who are the least accountable among us.
Exactly. Nailed it. Yep. 100%. We're less than 5 months from the midterms. And it seems to me, and I'm just, as we wind up here, it seems to me that all this attention, all this attempt at slandering, at dragging poor Graham Platner is elevating him, because I'm looking at the posts and I'm reading the comments, and they are 100% behind him. Maine is not being swayed by this.
Maine is a very much a highly educated community. They are a much smaller community. Again, right? Look at the differences between Michigan and Maine.
Yes.
You know, like, I mean, you're talking about a more independent-minded group, right? More educated group of people, okay? They're not going to be swayed by this propaganda and bullshit. Here's what's interesting. What you're hearing on TV about what's happening in Maine, okay, is not for Maine's consumption. It's for your consumption. Okay?
Right.
So what they're trying to tell you is you see, Democrats are propping up this guy, Graham. He's a bad dude. If anybody in your local community is supporting Graham, then they're bad dudes too, by association.
There
And
you
the
go.
fact that the Democratic Party is promoting Graham now, that means that the entire Democratic Party is bad news.
Yeah.
And they're bad for you. Like, it's this association nonsense. As if somehow you don't have a president linked to Epstein and the entire billionaire class that is linked to Epstein. Musk, Ellison, right? Palantir guy, right? Like Peter Thiel, all these fucking guys that are linked. Okay.
And they're running the government.
And they're running the government right now. Okay. And yet somehow the Republican Party isn't getting any smear from that. You know, like the Democrats aren't out there going, this is just the Epstein class protector class, right? Or this
Guardians
the Epstein
of
party.
pedophiles.
Just call it the Epstein party, right? Like, I mean, you know, they already have names out for Graham Platner, right? But the Democrats can't even just say like, oh yeah, he's running with the Epstein party.
That's it.
Right? The guy promoting the concerts. Okay, you're gonna fucking love this.
Yes. Oh yeah, I know. I heard this.
Promoting the concert, right, for Trump's 80th birthday party or whatever the fuck it is, right? That they're doing, the 250th anniversary or whatever. The guy getting all the bands, right? His name is Jeffrey Epstein.
No.
Can't make this shit up. Guy's name is Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein is the party planner, right, for the 250th anniversary of America.
Can't make this shit up.
Like, listen, I understand it's a different guy, but you can't make this shit up. And it's very apropos for this administration to be using Jeffrey Epstein as your party planner.
Right. Jeffrey Epstein from Universal Attractions. That's the name of his company. Oh, right. You can't. I mean, seriously.
Right.
I mean, it's almost like they did that on purpose.
And Milli Vanilli doesn't even want to do it anymore. And half of them is dead. You know, like, right. Like even Milli Vanilli doesn't want to be a part of it. The only one I think that said he would do it is that guy Freedom from CNC Music
Oh my
Factory.
God, no. Did you see the video?
Oh yeah, I did. I saw the interview. Oh my God. Guy does an interview on the toilet. And says, I would sing in front of Kim Jong-un, right, in North Korea.
While taking a shit on the toilet.
While taking a piss on the American flag and having Donald Trump holding his dick standing next to me, right? I mean, if you haven't seen that clip from The Daily Show, please watch it. It is a fucking riot.
Everybody
it is a riot.
Now.
Shit, you keep pushing me. I'll do the motherfucking show in North Korea, pissing on the fucking American flag, smoking a Cuban cigar, drinking Venezuelan wine, playing golf with motherfucking Kim Il-jung with an Iranian bitch on my lap. While Trump's standing there with his dick in his hand.
Right?
Oh my God, that was crazy.
Give me a break. Just give me a break. I've really had enough of the because if the politicians were serious about cleaning up this shit, they would look at the state police in Massachusetts and they would clean that shit up. They would absolutely fucking just start cleaning that shit up. They would need to clean house. And not only that, they would be looking at every other fucking department that we have in this country and seeing if that same shit is happening in other places. Because I guarantee you it is.
Rage Against the Machine sang about it. Right?
I mean, the sheer shit that he was saying, right? I would love for somebody to come on here and defend Michael Proctor's text messages saying that we need to defend police and that bullshit. Because I'm sorry, I'm not defending anything that man did. Right? Framing people, right? Putting innocent people in jail just because you can, because they're a different skin color. What the fuck?
Yeah. Abuse of power.
What the fuck, people? That's disgusting. You look at that case, it is fucking absolutely disgusting.
So this is so to wind up here, we want you to don't believe the propaganda. Look at the candidate, listen to what they're saying. Pay attention to the candidates that are staying on policy, that are talking about policies, that are talking about things that matter to you,
Yes.
affordable housing, affordable groceries, right? Creating jobs, creating lasting jobs, education. Gotten off the topic of education, and one thing I don't hear coming out of this administration, 2-word phrase, small business. They don't care about small business anymore.
They don't care about business. They don't care about anybody. They want the
themselves.
government to control everything. It's literally just a wealth grab at this point. Enough's enough.
Yeah.
Get rid of these fucking people. Like,
Yes.
seriously, enough is enough.
We need to listen to people who are speaking like Graham.
And it's not enough just to use the buzzwords affordability, because Kim Jeffries and
That's
Schumer
true.
use that shit too. Like, what are their actual policy positions? They have to actually have a policy behind it and what that actually means for the American people, and not the bullshit that Kamala Harris was talking about, which really was like wonky nonsense bullshit. Like, we want to hear Mamdani had really good policy positions, and he advocated for those policy positions. He didn't get all of them, but he got some of them.
But he made an effort to get them.
And it's a start. And you got to start somewhere, Like, these guys they just don't give a shit about anybody. It's literally like, all we want to do is take all the money that we get from the federal government and put it into the military, and that's it. Right?
Well, they're putting it into
and it's not going to soldiers. It's going to contractors. Understand the difference. It goes to contractors, not the soldiers.
Private contractors for the government.
Right.
That's our tax dollars. $70 billion they passed in the middle of the night, Friday night. That when they do this stuff, when they figure nobody's looking. $70 billion more than the $170 billion they already received for ICE and CBP. That could have been universal health care right there. Right? That could have been
infrastructure, could have been anything.
SNAP benefits, school lunch for kids.
But they chose that they wanted to fund them till the end of Trump's term because they want them to be the secret police that stomp on our rights. Because that's what's most important to them. Again, the value of any society is where they're willing to spend their money on. And they seem to be wanting to spend their money on trampling our rights. And that seems to be it. End of story.
Yes. So if you want to push back, you got to elect people that are talking about pushing back. And that's one thing he does talk about. He has not shied away. He hasn't backed off on his message at all. It's been pretty much, we got to fight back for what the what the American worker needs, what American citizens, regular Americans, middle class needs, because our middle class is disappearing right before our eyes and going to this wealthy, tiny micro 1%, less than 1% of citizens, not even non-citizens in this country.
The plutocracy,
Yeah.
you know?
A lot
It
of
was a plutocracy.
plutocracy, kakistocracy, right? And they got most of them got their money through inheritancy or some inheritism. That was the word I heard. Got their money that way because they didn't earn it. You know, they started out wealthy, so they don't know what it is to work to build something.
Listen, FDR he started out wealthy. It's just a matter of having some type of humanity and an understanding of being being an American is, and wanting to actually see the country be better than it was yesterday. Okay, and having a vision for that country. Mamdani has a vision. Okay, Graham Platner has a vision, and we're seeing those visions. El Sayed has a vision. We're seeing politicians come out and saying, "I have a vision." Now, whether all these visions that they're having as individuals can come together in a cohesive democratic plan is a different story. We don't know yet because the Democrats are fighting them. So we don't have an ability to know if that will end up being in some type of democratic plan in the future, right? But what we do know is that these individuals are worth fighting for and with to get these things for all of us, to make this a better country for all of us, to make this a country worth living in for all of us, making this world a place worth living in for all of us. Because this anti-immigrant, think about the mentality. It's at the same time they're saying that immigrants are destroying this country and taking our jobs, they're saying we need more births, we need more workers, we need more people. Right? They're saying the birth rate is down. So at the same, they're if you ever paid attention to the rhetoric that they spew, okay, you realize that the entirety of the platform of the Republican Party is entirely racist. It's entirely just white people only.
Yes.
Okay. And the Democrats aren't much better. I mean, they seem to be just about talking about things, but not actually doing anything to help anybody. So they talk about diversity, but they don't actually do anything to help actually rectify some of the sins of our past. Okay? They don't make borrowing easier. Okay? They make borrowing harder so that it's easy for white people but harder for minorities.
Yeah.
They haven't done anything to crack down on, in certain places they have, but in a lot of places they haven't, right? Same day lenders, payday lenders. There are billionaires who make tons of money off of that because a lot of poor people don't have bank accounts, so they can't cash their check.
And so they get a little piece of the pie of their check.
Right. So they have to give some of their money to the wealthy person, right? To the billionaire, okay? Just in order to be able to access their money, right? This is America. But this is what we're telling people. And then you don't really have an ability to get health care.
That's all we want is healthcare, universal healthcare.
Right. Fuck you, healthcare. We don't want healthcare anymore. We may be the richest country in the world, but not everybody deserves healthcare. What the fuck?
Yeah. And that's a conversation, that we will have in another episode, because I think it really ties in to what we're going to be talking about here as we build our platform and expand. So
Just stop listening to propaganda. That's my last thought on that. Just stop
Yes.
listening to propaganda and start using your brain and start looking critically thinking about what's happening in our communities,
Yeah,
right? And what we want to see from our communities in the long run.
there you go. All right. If you got anything out of this, if you like what we talked about, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Click the bell so you get notified when new videos drop and when we go live on Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And leave us a comment of 7 words or more so we can feed that algorithm, because there is a lot of suppression going on of pro-democracy content creators, and we don't want you to miss anything from any of us. All right. So thanks again for watching. We appreciate you, and we will see you in the next segment. Take care, guys. We love you.
Peace out.